I'm content creator Mary Barnett, also known as MobileMary. I'm the founder of Another Brilliant Idea, and I'm dedicated to helping women entrepreneurs grow their business with digital marketing and communication tools, tips, and resources that empower them to be bold and stand in their brilliance on my globally recognized show, Brilliant Marketing with Mary. Hey, and welcome to the Brilliant Marketing with Mary show. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm so excited to have another amazing friend and fellow creative marketing expert. And we're going to be sharing some awesome tips with you today. I am we just behind the scenes a little bit, just a little always transparent here on the Brilliant Marketing with Mary show. We've been having some technical issues, and isn't that the case with everything in life, right? You think you have everything dialed in, but you know what? You need to learn to go with the flow. And Alex and I were just talking off screen that we used to be at a point in our careers where that would really bother us, but with knowing that everything is going to be okay, right? With bouncing all the things in your life, you just realize you just rolling with it is going to be better on many levels. So as I said today, my guest is Alex Cappe, and I am so honored to have her talk about the 3 instantly actionable hacks to unlock your creativity in your marketing. She is a creativity coach. In fact, I want to make sure I read this correctly because she has done so much. And again, there might be one person who doesn't know who she is, but in case you don't know, Alex is a creativity coach, singer, songwriter, keynote speaker, and CEO of Creative Self Revolution in LA. Her speaking engagements include Microsoft, eWomen Network, and Small Business University. In her business, Creative Self Revolution, she uses unique creativity coaching processes to enhance personal and professional development. Her focuses include perfectionism, growth mindset, and work life balance. Through her work, speaking, and music, Alex is on her mission to provide inspiration worldwide, giving people powerful tools involving creativity and mindset, and empower everyone to live a life that they truly love. So, without further ado, let's bring Alex into our screen here. And again, she is so generous to share her time with us today. Welcome, Alex.
Hello, thank you for having me today.
You are so welcome, and thank you for rolling with the glitch. Right? We're just going to call it the glitch. We'll just name it and claim it, and it's going to be okay. I love it. So, Alex, did I pronounce your last name correctly?
It's Cap.
It's
But
Cap. Okay.
yeah,
I apologize. I introduced you as Cape, but you are kind of a superhero, and superheroes wear capes. So,
exactly.
so today we're talking about, as I said earlier, how to use 3 instantly actionable hacks to unlock your creativity in marketing. And tell me what you mean by instantly actionable. Fantastic. Okay, well, here we go, having another glitch. So I will share a little bit about the fact that Alex has a brilliant marketing share. Every week I try to, oh, here she's back. That's awesome. Here, we'll bring her back in. Every week, I always ask my guests to share what they feel is a brilliant marketing share. And Alex, why don't you address what you shared me with this statistic?
Yeah, so there have been studies done about kids and where they fall on the creativity scale. And so basically, they did a study and they gave this test to all these preschoolers, and they were like, yeah, some of them are going to be creative geniuses. 98% of them tested as creative geniuses, which is amazing. Then they
Wow.
followed up the test 5 years later. It went down to about 30%. They followed up the test about 10 years later, went down to 12%. And then as we're adults, it's down to 2%. But the point being, we all were creative geniuses as kids, so we all have it. It's just we suppress it. We suppress it out of ourselves. That's really what happens.
Wow. That is so sad. In fact, I wish I had the video queued up. Yesterday, I was driving home from a college reunion and I stopped at this really cool playground because I think I was sharing with you off screen that I talk all the time about how we really need to get back to playing with our marketing, right? Playing with our business so we wake up energized and looking forward to playing on the playground of our business, right? And so I stopped at this park, and I must have been inspired from you subconsciously because I had so much joy listening to the kids laugh. And I saw them, on these giant double swings. And there was a little boy that I asked the mom with her permission, and she said it'd be okay. I literally videotaped this little boy standing up on he was on some kind of sculpture, and he was clearly a dolphin sculpture, and he was saying, "Yahoo! Yahoo! I'm a cowboy! I'm a cowboy!" And he was doing this like swinging with his hand like he had a lasso, and he was really standing on a dolphin. And then he saw a friend, and he's yelling, "Hi, so and so!" It was like, and I was like so overcome with joy because that could be us too, but we, as you said, we suppress it, and it really takes the fun. I always say, take the fun out of your funnels. We want to put fun back in our funnels, right? So,
Yes.
so tell me a little bit about how, because you mentioned that you not only help business owners, but you also help people personally in their personal lives as well, like unlock their creativity. What kind of problems do people bring to you that you help fix?
So I mean, a lot of people will come to me when they are at a transition moment where they sort of just like forgotten who they are. Maybe they have, the kids have left the house or a relationship has just ended and now they're at home thinking, I don't know who I am without this. And
Wow.
so my vehicle to help them rediscover that is through creativity because it really connects you to yourself. It helps you to process things. It helps you to feel that joy again, when you connect to that, just like you were saying. It's so much about the joy and so much in marketing. I think you're totally right. It's about the joy because when we come at it and we hate what we're doing, people feel that and then they don't want to come to us.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I was just thinking that when I was in the park, I was thinking, you know what? I bet it totally like people pick up on that vibe. If
Yeah.
you're just going through the motions and you're like, oh, what do I have to post on social today? What do I need to send out in my email this week? What am I going? I mean, like you can just feel that thick sludge, that they're walking through. But when you have more of a joy, kind of like what we're doing by, not freaking out every time the camera goes off on this show, I think, like, right, it just kind of permeates through that, you know what? Life is short and we're just going to enjoy it along the way. So
Absolutely.
something else that you mentioned, and I thought this was kind of cool when I asked you, well, there you go. Every time I seem to be using this little, they call it on-screen agenda, it kicks her right off. But sometimes it doesn't, so we don't know. Anyways, but her marketing tip was utilizing and sticking to creative routine in your calendar, and then shooting in that time slot will get your most creative content done all at once. So basically, when you're feeling the mood, get it done, right? Don't wait. Don't try to do something every day. Batch it. And I'm on the same page as her. I did a talk for eWomen about batching your content, both in getting your work done as well as creating the content itself. Because I think that, when the mood strikes, right, your hair looks right or your makeup is done, guys don't have any clue about this, right? They don't even understand. Like, why would you have to worry about if your hair was done or your makeup was, but girls worry about this kind of stuff. So when you just are feeling, or maybe you're in the what they call the golden hour, right? When the sun is just about to go down, but everything is glowing, and you go outside and you can create a video, speaking to your phone, or take a cute picture of yourself or the content that you're talking about, something of inspiration. Just get it done, and then while you're inspired, get everything done at the same time, and then you can let that be something that you trickle out over time, which is great. Okay, I saw her come back in, but I don't. Oh, there she goes. Okay, so when she comes on, I will bring her back in. So something that my marketing magic with Mary is a tip that I give is that I really want people to learn how to be playful in their marketing, because at the basic level, people love to play, right? It starts as Alex was pointing out. In preschool and kindergarten, right? There's a famous poem, and I probably should have pulled it up before, but it was everything that I learned in kindergarten, right? And play well with others, share, be kind. All those things are so important to remember, not just in life, but in business as well, right? You want to play with someone in their playground if they're, you know, someone who, oh, I think I hear her. Awesome. Here she is again. Okay, we're coming up. We're coming up. There she is. Yay! I just been punting without you. That's awesome. So let's get to those 3 actionable tips. So what's number 1?
The first one is giving yourself permission or having somebody give you permission to release that perfectionism. And it sounds really simple, but this is half of what I do as a creativity coach, is just giving people that permission. You can do it wrong, you can do it messy, it doesn't have to be right. And sometimes people feel so freed by that, like, oh, I can, because if we just try to do it ourselves, we think this has to be just right, and we hold on to it. So I'm giving that permission to everybody today, that you can release some of that perfectionism. It's okay. And looked at us rolling with it. Life is all improvisation. And so
Right.
that's the first thing I think that really needs to happen, is just that switch.
I love that. And in the world of digital, you can always go back and fix it later. So I talk to a lot of people. We help them create courses by filming them. And if they think, "Oh my gosh, I have to wait till it's perfect," well, guess what? The content most likely will change next year, right? New trends, new information, new research will come up, and you have the ability with digital marketing to replace that, and no one would be the wiser. Someone who bought it this year is going to get great content or information from you, and the people who have it next year will also have the same great content, just updated, and then everybody wins. So I love that. Okay, awesome. Okay, so that's number 1. Give yourself permission to release the perfection. I love that. Okay, okay. I just lost her again. I was just saying, what's number 2? Because we actually decided to be spontaneous in this, and so I didn't have her answers before. So here she is again. I'm just vamping. It's all good. Okay. So what is number 2? Okay. I just lost her again. Gotta love this software today. I can't wait now. I'm just like on the edge of my seat of what number 2 could be. But it's true. I think sometimes we are the hardest on ourselves. We think that everything needs to be perfect, as she was saying, or that we have to have all our ducks in a row. We can't even just talk about something before it's absolutely perfect and finished. And a good friend of mine, her name is Molly Mahoney. She actually teaches to sell it first, which means if you have a concept of something that you think is going to be really helpful and lead from service with your customers, with your client base, if you put it out there and say, "Hey, if I create if I create a course about blank, would anybody be interested in signing up to be on the waiting list?" And then if people start responding, I'm talking about selling it first, right? When you have a concept, maybe that's not completely ironed out or all your ducks aren't in a row. If you just throw it out there, you'd be amazed. You'll either get great feedback. Either way, you're going to get great feedback. If you had nobody answering you, you'll okay, I'm not going to waste my time building something that no one wants. Or 2, you might have an overwhelming, heck yeah, I want to be a part of that. Let me know when it's available. It doesn't even have to be done
Yeah.
when you launch it. So that was just something I shared while you were off screen. So what's number 2 actionable tip?
Okay, so it's asking your 5-year-old. So
Oh,
when, which I think is a really fun concept. Ask your
yeah.
5, or when you're about to do something, go back to that version of yourself. What would they do in this situation? It can be a marketing thing. You think, oh, maybe they thought about being a dolphin and having a lasso, and that's not entirely relevant. But you just start to like pour out those ideas. Do not edit them while they're happening. Let that 5-year-old just go crazy with the ideas and pour them onto the page. Then take the time to go back and edit. A lot of times we try to do both at the same time because we think we're being efficient. And really, that's 2 different parts of your brain. And we really
Oh,
need to separate those processes out.
right, like the
Yeah.
left and right side.
Yeah. And also just
Which
to
is
try to
it?
bring joy
Oh,
into what you're doing. Oh, sorry.
no, it's okay. I'm so sorry. I was just saying, what is it? The right brain that is creative and the left brain that's analytical? I
You
can't
know what?
remember.
I should absolutely know this, but I always forget. I always mix it up.
That's okay. It's okay. I just thought if you knew, I could say, for some reason, I remember right brain being creative because I'm creative. So I'm like, I'm always right.
Right? Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Always right. I'm sorry. Anyways, so yeah, so yeah, so ask so if you're not saying go find a 5-year-old and ask them, you're saying you ask yourself,
Ask yourself and just
your
sort of
childhood
find
self.
the things that you're joyful about. Like think about the things that you like to do. whether it's drawing or whether it's gardening or whether it's, quilting or whatever it is, and to start to bring those things in. I'm really about like integrating your whole self into your marketing, because a lot of times we just try to separate out and just be the expert. Oh, well, if I write anything else in there.
Oh my gosh. I hear you, Alex. Yeah, I think I feel the same thing. I always feel like I have to clean it up and do it at the same time. And I think you're right. When she comes back, she can finish her thought. Um, that I think that we get so hard on ourselves and we feel like we have to do everything at the same time. Sometimes it's better to slow down to speed up. I've heard that so many times from the gurus that sometimes we're so in a rush to make that sale or to get something finished, to get it on the big, board that I checked it off, that I got it done, right? But you're such in a rush to do it. Sometimes things are missing and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I forget that one element? And it's because you thought you had to do everything all at once. But if you slow down, as she was saying, to create whatever you want through your 5-year-old lens, right? Through the of your childhood lens, then I think that you can take the time to then say, okay, what are something as a professional that I would need to build into that on top of the 5-year-old perspective? So, but again, as I said earlier, it's, Alex was saying that perfectionism is the killer of all, joy, right? Because, we think being all buttoned up is important, but after a while, it just will wear on you and it's really to your detriment to do that. And I hear her coming back. Yay! This has been the most fun show, right? With all the cool, it's so in the moment. It's almost like reality TV. Um, and I just clicked her to come in and the software kicked her off again. So awesome. So we're talking about, if you hadn't seen this yet, we're talking about how to use 3 instantly actionable, say that 3 times fast, hacks to unlock your creativity in your marketing. And as Alex was sharing with us, that the first one was to give yourself permission to release the perfection. If I get her to come up, I'll be so excited. Okay, she went away again. So she told me to give release that you need to give yourself permission, which is so important, right? The second one was ask your 5-year-old self about what you're working on. And if your 5-year-old self's like, yeah, that's super cool, I want to totally do that, then it's something that you think maybe you're on the right track, right? And if you do have a 5-year-old in your life, ask them their concept. Of course, make it so it's something that would relate to them. But and then I think sometimes that creativity is something that will just, spark something in your life that you didn't expect. I'm going to share a tip that helps me, and it might be just me because I love swings. But sometimes when I'm stuck or I'm just in a mood where I feel like, ugh, I'm just not feeling it today, or I'm trying to think through a problem and I can't seem to um have it, click. I actually go to the park and I jump on a swing. I swinging for some reason releases the child in me and I have a much more open mind when I'm pulling my knees back and then I'm pushing forward and I'm almost like you get caught up in the air for a second before you go back down. It's just such a release for me. I just absolutely love it. My husband is so sweet. For our anniversary this summer, he built me a swing in our backyard, a full twin size bed swing, so I could lay out my feet out, put a little blanket on, read a book, have a cup of coffee, or in the evening, a glass of wine. And it is absolutely the most joyful thing. So we're going to hopefully bring her on and we're going to get the third hack. Yay! I think this show is going to keep people excited about staying on to see if you come back or not. So
Will she come back?
will
Let's
she? Won't
find
she?
out. Will she?
All
One
right,
thing I
I'm going
wanted
to
to
do
add to
no
that.
more bottom things so we can get the third hack out before it kicks you off again.
Okay, one thing I did want to add to the second one though is just about like vulnerability. I used to think that was the thing we needed to hide, but really that's what lets people in, and that's part of what letting the perfectionism go does. If you just sort of let that go and you are a little bit less perfect, or right now we're just improvising, people can relate to that more than if you're just absolutely polished. So I think it's important to do that.
I love that. And I think people relate to you more too. I think,
Mhm.
you're so right. Because people, they think, they know how to do everything. I don't know how to do anything. But if you show that you drop the mic or kick somebody off the screen, maybe it's okay, and that we're surviving, right? Okay, what is number 3 of
Okay.
the 3 actionable tips?
Okay, so the third one is setting a creative routine. And this is something that you can start to do, but it builds over time. And this serves many different purposes. So I'm talking about actually putting it into your calendar 30 minutes, 3 times a week, at least for 3 weeks, see what starts to happen to you. Because if you start setting aside time for that rather than waiting for the muse all the time, you only get inspired so often if you do that. If you're constantly setting aside time to be creative, it starts to come in more. You're also less precious about the ideas when they do come. When they come like infrequently, you hold on to them. This is the only idea I'm going to have for 3 months. But if you're constantly doing it, those ideas are coming in, and you can kind of be like, oh, okay, that works, that doesn't work. And so it's a really important thing to do. It's fun. It'll help you feel better and lighter to help you process life. I'm so rushing because I'm afraid I'm going to get kicked out of the screen again. Um, but like there's lots of different things you can do in this time. You could do something super artistic. And my view of creativity is not necessarily artistry. It is a state of mind. It is being open, imaginative, and curious.
I
And
love
it's
that.
something we all can do. And so you could paint, but you could also quilt. You could also take your phone and take pictures of nature and different angles. You're just seeing something in a different way. You could do a writing practice. You could do creative visualization. So it's just setting aside that time and knowing you're going to get into that headspace. And over time, that really develops a habit that will serve you in literally every single part of your life.
I love that. That is so cool. I actually learned once, and I can't remember now who said it. I was in some courses. I'm always learning,
Yeah.
trying to, and I think that's important too, right? We have to be open to always being a learner, because that way, we are open to new ideas. And the person said, if you work with your hands, you should rest with your mind. And if you work with your mind, you should rest with your hands. So if someone who's online all the time working on their business, they need to step away and go for a walk, or do a craft or garden, something with their hands, right? But if their business is being a landscaper, right, or something physical like a work, like a trainer, then resting would be maybe going and reading a book, or something a little bit more cerebral. In fact, on that note, it's funny that we're talking about this today, because today in the mail from Amazon, I actually ordered 2 things on creativity, and I thought that I would share it during the show. So I'm like so excited. So these are both resources from this gentleman that I actually met like 25 years ago. I was new in my business. I've been in business for 34 years, and I'm only 35. Yes. Thank you for not laughing. Anyways, this gentleman, Roger Van Oak, have you ever heard of this? A whack on the side of the head?
I have, but I have not actually read it.
Okay, no, that's cool. I actually have his other one, which is a kick in the seat of the pants, and it's up in my bookshelf. But I ordered this because I was talking about, that we're going to be doing this challenge coming up in a few weeks, called Play Your Way to Profits.
Yes.
And it's all about getting back to the basics of playing. And so we can lighten the heck up and have some fun. So it's so cool that we're doing the show today. Anyways, so this is a book that's all completely filled with all these creative ways that will inspire you to think differently, right? And that was like Apple's phrase, right? Think differently
Yes.
was always their thing, which is kind of cool. And this is called the Creative Whack Pack, and they're like cards. Oh my gosh, Alex, you would love this. Seriously, I just got this. I'll put the link for Amazon in the comments when I post the show. But it has like cards that you can use, like if you were doing like a group setting or something, and there's like rules that you can pass them out, and everyone can like look at the ones, and they come from different points of view. So if I think they have like explorer, warrior, anyway, so it's like coming from a different part of your brain, and it helps you, it's like change your viewpoint, listen to your dreams, reverse something, see the positive. Anyways, there's all these really cool ideas in this, and I thought, oh my gosh, since I'm also in curious and helping people be more creative in their marketing, I'm excited to share these things. So it was so cool that we had today scheduled, even though we got kicked off 14,000 times. So anyway, so I'll send you the link as well. So if you
Awesome.
interested in that, and anyway, I thought that would be kind
Yes.
of fun. So
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how people can get in touch with you
Um, so
if
they can
they
get in
need
touch.
more creativity in their life and help you break through the barriers that they're living with.
Yeah, and I just to let people know that I used to be a massive perfectionist, and I never thought that I would be at a place where I could not be like that. So if you're feeling that right now, like, oh man, that sounds really nice, but that's just not who I am, you can actually like shift it over, and that's something that I love to help people do, and I know it works too because I've done it myself.
I love
Um,
that. Oh, wait, before you do share, I don't want to, well, you can share if you want in the middle of the show. But before you go, you were telling me a little bit about how you go to workshops with Oscar-winning composers to get ideas, and you ask them questions and everything after. So I would love to hear some of the stories from your adventures talking with the composers to help get creative ideas.
Yeah, so this is super great because I am a singer-songwriter as well. So from that perspective, it's so interesting to hear these composers talk about what they did. So we'll watch the movie and then they'll tell us about how they came up with the score for that movie. And just,
That's so
all
cool.
kinds. It's so cool. And then just as a creativity coach to hear the creative process of these people who are at the top of their field. Really cool. And so the first one I would like to mention is Danny Elfman, who probably a lot of you are familiar with.
Love him.
And
Yeah.
he's great. He's obviously very prolific. He's had a really long career. But he said something that really just like lit me up when I heard it was the person moderating the event was saying, well, aren't you frustrated when you come up with a whole score for something and then they trash it and they don't have that scene anymore, or whether they mix something around and you have to redo it? Doesn't that just drive you crazy? And
Yeah.
his answer was, no, I love it. I'm like a dog with a ball. You throw the ball over here, and I think, cool, what can I make over here? And you throw the ball over there, and I think, oh wow, what can I make there? That is his entire process. And to me, I was like, wow, if we all approached life with that kind of curiosity and it's an opportunity to do something else rather than a, oh man, I just thought that was a beautiful example of how to really use that open, creative growth mindset and see everything as a new growth opportunity. So
Right.
that was
That's
one
neat.
with
Well, that says a lot about why he's so successful.
exactly
Right?
what he says.
Probably because if you're working with him as the director or anybody else in the process, and you have a composer that's a whiny baby who complains, well, why'd you do that? And why'd you do that? Right? Versus someone like Danny, obviously, that is like, hey, no problem. Let's get to the next, then of course they're going to want to work with someone who's creative and open-minded like that. I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, is there another one?
Um, so I had another one about to the perfection issue. So the composer Trent Reznor, who's also a rock artist, and
Oh,
he's my favorite as well. And so he has dealt with perfectionism a lot, and this sort of goes to actually album producing. He came out with an album, did really well, sold lots of millions of copies. They said, "Great, do that again, do that exact thing again. We want another million copies." And he thought, "Oh my God, what am I going to do here?" And we get that way in our marketing. Something worked one time, we think we have to make it perfect the next time, otherwise we can't. And so he looked at that piece of paper for years. He literally couldn't do anything because he was so paralyzed by that perfection of I have to sell a million copies with this. Um,
wow.
so he worked on himself, did self work and mindset work, and he was able to start, just put something on the page, just start to go with it. You'll learn from it. It's not always going to turn into something great, but you'll learn along the way and you're going to get more stuff. And when he
Right.
went with that route, he's prolific. He's done all kinds of movies, he's done all kinds of albums. And so I think we can learn from that too. It's the just starting, it's allowing that first thing, allowing the mess to happen and sort of finding the mess interesting. And it's about how life is about the journey, not the destination. And that is the same thing with what we're doing here. We just want hit our goalpost with this amount of money or this program or this that, but really we have
Right.
to enjoy the little things that happen along the way. Otherwise, it can be kind of miserable.
Right. Right. I've heard the expression, let your mess become your message. Right?
Yeah,
And so when you just think, "Oh my gosh, there's nothing can come out of this. I've made so many mistakes or I've fallen so many times and no one's going to think I'm credible or no one's going to think I know what I'm doing," or and you all those little voices, I call it the enemy, right? Whispering in our ear. We just have to say, shut the heck up. And get behind me. I want to go forward and use the messes that I've lived through that's going to help somebody, bless somebody so they don't make the same mistakes. Or you could take those messes and change them just slightly to create something completely new, out of the ashes, so to speak. So I love that, Alex. I bet you're helping so many people with this. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you. I hope so. And it's also just like really reframing failure. We think of failure as a bad word, but if you think about failure more as learning, and success
Right.
does not come without it. Like if you look at a success is on the top of a bunch of failures. If you never did all those things, you don't get to the success. Like you have to fail. And then you
Oh no. She was saying, as kids, if they're told that we we did it wrong, sometimes some kids actually um, use that as a challenge, and some kids use that as a defeat, which I think is what you're going to say. So say it again. When kids are
Well,
told
it
they're doing
also goes
something
back
wrong,
to that first part about suppressing creativity. If our whole school system is about you have to get an A on this thing, not so much like figuring out how to get there, then you're just paralyzed by just that number or that SAT score or whatever, and we become really fixated on that. You told me a story about your daughter, I think, which was a very growth mindset type of story. We can either view those things as scary and oh my gosh, how am I going to make this work, or we can say, cool, I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow from that. What else can I learn? What else is there? Rather than being like, I just got to get this one thing right and then I'm a good person. And
right?
that, and the failure does not define you. The fixed mindset says more like, if you fail at something, you're a failure. Whereas with
Right.
the growth mindset says, here's the thing I tried, it didn't work. Okay, let's try another thing. It doesn't have anything to do with who I am. It's just a thing that happened. You know?
I love that. That's so crazy that you're bringing this up because on my way, I was drove this weekend up to see some college girlfriends, and I was listening to Brandon Richard's six growth tips, six growth something. Anyways, and that was one thing he said is that when you find something that you can't do, instead of going, "Oh my gosh, I can't do it," it should, instead of stopping there, say, "Oh my gosh, that's something I need to learn more about." And then you go find someone who's an expert at, I don't know, creativity that's going to help you open up your mind to a different way of thinking, right? Or if it's, you need to learn Spanish for your job, you don't just go, oh, whatever. No, you're going to go take a class on learning how to speak Spanish because we all can learn. We all can get better at something. And then you never know who you're going to inspire on the way
Exactly.
because, our kids are always watching us. And they're not, don't have to be just our kids. They could be kids in our world, like nephews, nieces, kid next door, someone who's overhearing your story in a grocery store. You might be the inspiration for them to say, wow, if they could do that, maybe I can do that. It's not so scary. That didn't kill them. It was trying, but you know what? We grow through fire, right? When you're baptized through fire, what is that term? When you get better, steel strengthening, what is it? So
I don't know.
steel sharpens steel.
Oh,
The Stephen Covey thing, where I used to have his organizers, and he had a thing called there was a section that about growth, and it was oh, someone in the comments, please tell us.
yeah,
Well,
something. Yeah.
it says something sharpens steel, sharpens whatever, and it means that you have somebody in your life who challenges you to go to a next level, and that's kind of what you do, Alex. Is that you're showing somebody a different way of thinking and holding them accountable to change the way they're thinking so they can get to the next level in their life, which I think is
Exactly.
cool.
Because sometimes we'll get excited by watching something like this and we'll think, okay, I'm going to go do this, and maybe it happens for a few weeks and then it falls off. Whereas if you have a coach you're working with on any number of things, part of what they do is hold you accountable to keep doing that thing and to also be compassionate in helping you, because sometimes people are so hard on themselves, and have someone be like, it's okay that this hasn't worked yet, but keep
Right,
going, and here's the next thing that we can do. And
right.
that's a beautiful thing to have. It's a useful thing to have in your personal life. It's a useful thing to have in your professional life. Like both of those things are worth investing in.
I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh, we have such a similar mindset. I just love I could talk to you all day.
Me too.
Wait, steel sharpens. No, I'm gonna find out what it is. There's a famous expression. Anyways, doesn't matter. Anyways, but you're obviously someone who's going to help somebody reframe what they're going through, help them look at it in a different way, almost like a prism. Like you just need to
Yeah,
change that a little bit to kind of see it a new way and go, oh, maybe it was standing right in front of you the whole time. But sometimes we just can't see the forest through the trees, you know?
Absolutely. And that's partly another thing I love about growth mindset is the fixed mindset is this is the amount of things I have. I can't change it. This is all I can do. The growth mindset is coloring outside the lines, finding colors you didn't even know existed. And that's how it sort of relates to artistry too, that all comes together. And we can take those things and we can say this didn't work yet. And really just little shifts like that you do over time start to rewire your brain to think differently. Another thing I wanted to mention is just this doesn't sometimes kids get worried also about learning and I am only this smart. But we also do that as adults. We start to think, well, this is where I am, I'm set in my ways. But really, we can learn. It is all just like the choice. We make the choice and keep making the choice over and over again to do something different.
I love that. It's true. Life is all about a series of choices. And if we decide that maybe we made a wrong choice, we can turn around and make another choice, and that's okay. You know, I think some people think if I make the wrong decision and they get all I can never, but no, there's so many success stories of people who have started over, like Colonel Sanders. He didn't even make his first chicken recipe until he was like in his 50s or something.
You know that.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Yeah,
No.
yeah. He was like 55, I think, when he started the chicken business or something. And then, like, I mean, we only see him with the beard, that
Yeah,
he looks
so do
old.
I.
Because by the time he probably started doing marketing, he was probably, in his 80s. I don't know. But yeah, it's like it's never too late. It's never
It's
too
never
late.
too late.
And if you're stuck, you need somebody like Alex. So again, let's roll. We'll finish up the show and then hang on afterwards because I want to take a cute little picture of us. But tell us, Alex, how people can get a hold of you if they would like a whack in the side of the head creatively with you. How can they get a hold of you?
I'm much more gentle than that. Um, but
Not me.
you,
I'm the whack. You could be the
yeah,
nice soft.
I'm a gentle nudging along. Um, so so you can email me. Am I allowed to say my email address?
Yeah, say that. In fact, I'd love to put it up, but I'm afraid if I do, I'm going to kick you off.
Okay.
Today, the software
So,
is just not our friend. So just say it, and I'll write it in the comments.
so it's Alex at creativeselfrevolution.com.
Okay.
I'm also on all the social media at Creative Self Revolution. So feel
Great.
free to connect with me on there. Those would be the main avenues. And if you're interested in working on this, or somebody who might need help with it, or an organization that might need their workers to be more creative, I go speak
Oh,
with different corporations. I recently spoke with
really?
Microsoft, like you said, and so going in and just sort of talking to them about how to ignite that creativity and inspiring them to make the next set of choices.
That is so fantastic. So you can help a whole team kind of break through if they're a little stuck. You can help them kind of break through on their creativity. I love that. Well, hello, Microsoft. Not like, Microsoft, no big deal.
Yeah, that was a cool one. Just at creative, I mean, just creativeselfrevolution.com is my website. I should say that too.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you know.
And I'm sure you have, all the, accolades of all these lovely companies on there as well, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm. You know.
Good, good. I'm glad. Okay, so we're wrapping up the show. Again, I'm afraid of putting up on the screen, but just as you guys know, every Thursday at 12:30, I drop a new show with an amazingly brilliant marketing pal talking about different ways that you can up level your marketing because I think everyone is brilliant. We just need to take the bushel off our candle or whatever that is, the light off. Whatever. We just need to shine our light out there in the world so we can have a big impact. So I want to thank you, Alex, for coming on and sharing that it is possible to have more creativity in your business. You just have to maybe reframe a little bit, and amazing things can happen. So
And,
again, oh, sorry, you want to say anything else?
oh, I just wanted to say thank you for having me here. I mean, I know we were kind of kicked in and out, but I'm really honored to be here with you today. And we do think a
Oh,
lot alike. And I think that you really help people. I've seen you speak before, and that's always very inspiring. So thank you so much for including me in this.
well, we have the Mutual Admiration Society. I love that. That's great. All right, everybody. We'll see you next Thursday. Again, thanks to Alex Cap on your head, but she's also a hero. And I'll look forward to seeing you on the next show. All right. Take care. God bless. Thank you for joining me today. You can learn more about me, my products, and services at anotherbrilliantidea.com because everyone needs another brilliant idea. Make sure to join me for another episode every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific or 2:30 Central on my globally recognized show, Brilliant Marketing with Mary.